Hi, I'd like to talk about a book that I am writing called Apotheosis. And I might change the title, but for now, that is the process. And my book is kind of going to be this anchor in the sense that I already have lots of things that you can look into. If you look at, you know the place to look, and also my content on here. So basically, apotheosis used to be used as a word to deify a human. So in myths, obviously the myths later we have that comes in that package. So it also means glorification and things like that. So you can kind of think of this as a process that's beyond awakening, and beyond when you find out kind of that we're all one, that kind of process. So which people usually call enlightenment. So I've went through a process that's beyond that, like the now what. So what do you do with that? I used to call it directing energy, but I went so deep in it that now it's not just directing energy. It's a whole mapping system. So I did a post yesterday talking about that mapping system, and when I do it's basically self empowerment. That's kind of what apotheosis is. It is empowerment. And you can think of it like this. So when they did this, and let's say in the Greek mythology, Greek history, what they would do is they would deify a human. And you don't just deify a human, right? They have to have a myth that they did. They have to be involved with the gods. They usually, we know where they came from. Like, why are they? Like, you can think of, Achilles, or, there's a bunch that you can probably think of. And so this process, instead of people just doing this and making it history, why don't we make our own history? Why don't we make ourselves the myth, and we write our own stories and make our own connections? And so that's what I have to offer. As I write this book, I'm going to share that with everyone, and anyone who's really invested in this and they want to go along for the ride, feel free to go on my Patreon. I also just started a subreddit for this process. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm very excited about the subreddit. But for now, I am basically going to talk more about all these things. So everything that you've seen on my page and anything you see that I have to offer, those are all tools to do that. So you don't have to do that process. That would be more my coaching. But if you want to just take little snippets that help with your life, those are also helpful. I even have workbooks already too. So if you have a look at the workbooks. But this book is going to go through the process of the mapping out. So you become you write your own myth almost of why are you here as a human? Like, why did that happen? So anyway, I thought that I'd share that because this is what I've been working on. I have been a little bit quiet on TikTok for that reason, because I felt like because for about 2 years straight, I was coming on the live every day for everybody. But I felt like things shifted because people weren't coming anymore, and it was very busy for a while. And I feel like it's because I was called to do this. And if I'm honest, I am a recovering people pleaser, and I know a lot of recovering people pleasers that come to me because it's just like it's something I went through as a human. So that's what will happen is you specialize in the things that you've worked on and stuff like that. And so because I was doing that, when I was doing this kind of stuff, I was going very far with how to help people, but you end up, even though you're going very far, you also are limiting yourself because you don't know about yourself, because the whole, everything, things as deeply as you know yourself is very true. So I have since like the beginning of this year, I mean, it's been happening a little bit. Like last year, it was like my energies were pushing me and going, Nicole, you need to do your thing. And so basically I listened finally at the beginning of this year. It was mainly, I'd say the beginning of March, late January. I was like, okay. And so all of this information started flooding in. I talk about it on my Patreon, of like my biggest connection that I have, which I mean is expanded. People say hi, but it's actually expansion. So anyway, I can talk about all of that It's going to be in my book. I am going, like I said, a step at a time, and I'm going to see how I'm going to do it on Reddit. But yeah, I think it's very exciting because it's new for me, because I've always wanted more people coming to chat and things like that. And I feel like Reddit people are like, when they go on there, it's the reason why they're going on Reddit is because they're hungry for something that is missing on a show, or something that someone talked about. They want more, right? They want people to see what people think. And that's kind of what I would like. That's the kind of people I like. And on TikTok, I feel like people are, even me when I go on TikTok, it is kind of like a quick thing. And it's like a quick, where you're like, okay, that's cool. Okay, that's cool. Okay, that's cool. And you can use it like the other way, but it's just not like that. I even, in the comments, I would talk to people and stuff, and it's not the same. So I will link that when it starts getting ready. But if you look up apotheosis, I can't even say my word now, apotheosis, that is basically what it's called, the subreddit. There is a game called Apotheosis, which is funny. And I haven't looked at it, but I saw that other people were doing it. But anyway, I thought I'd do a catch up like that. I do have some videos that I'm gonna maybe post in a few minutes. I'm not sure. We'll see. But yeah, I thought I'd catch everybody up, and welcome on my journey if you're new, and welcome if people want to join in and they've always been on my journey.